and greetings from Toronto,
Great.
Canada.
You're in Toronto, Canada. I'm in Rome, Italy. So.
I know, and I'm very jealous because that's where I would like to be right now. But, if you would like to invite me to come stay with you guys, I'd be totally there.
Yeah, good.
Congratulations on this. My God. Being a nice Jewish girl, I didn't really know a lot about Padre Pio. I'm going to be very honest with you. I had heard about him, of course. And I wanted to know, first of all, from you, how did he get on your radar? Why was he such a great subject for this film, in your opinion?
He's one of the great Italian saints, great saints in the Catholic Church. In the south of Italy, because he's from Naples, okay? Or he's from the region of the Campania.
Yeah.
He's like the patron saint of the outlaws, of the underdog, of the other, and he's embraced big time.
Right.
Okay. So I've seen his statue, I've seen his pictures, I've seen it all over the place, So, the stigmata, the miracles, the hospital he built, so it was like an attraction. He also was born very close to my grandfather, almost the same time. Okay. So I have a very connection to him that way.
I was going to ask you about how you felt connected to him just on a personal level. That's an interesting fact about your grandfather, but just when you started to kind of really research him, did you see anything in yourself that you could compare yourself to him? And
I mean, we're all connected, we're all connected. Struggle, what he went through, how he approached it. I'm not like trying to, I'm not making movies about guys that remind me of me, but you find yourself in everybody, right? I am
sure.
you're me, we're all together.
Yeah.
I am the walrus, you know what I mean? You know how it is.
I know how it is.
But I connect big time to him. I connected to his faith, his struggle, his journey. I'm not building $35 million hospitals for people.
Right.
All right. Or I'm not performing miracles, but you don't have to. And at the end of the day, this guy performed simple confession.
Yeah.
I mean, he delivered it every day. He everybody you ever met that had any connection to him, or their family had, or their mothers or grandfathers, they all come away, with something very special about this guy that connected to them in a very human way.
Yeah. And listen, you're not born a saint, like you become one. You know what I mean? And this is what I like about this.
No,
yeah, because we follow his journey in this film. There's no question about it. I mean, he was pretty practically the next best thing to Jesus Christ. Would you agree?
Well, he wouldn't say that, I mean, his whole thing was his love of Mary, the Christ whole thing. But say it again, he was the next best thing to Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a worshiper of the Lord, I mean, he's a believer, and he's a believer. And his life is the love of Jesus is what he's about, period.
Right.
And to to live a life that's gonna who could be Jesus? That's the point. He's a real man. You can connect to him because especially if you read his letters, there was moments of darkness, there was moments of doubt, there was big time temptation, there's all that. He was no different than anybody else.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, when you go right down to it, neither was Jesus. I mean, he was a man. He was a human being who became revered. So it's interesting.
And he was Jewish.
He was Jewish. Yes, he was. But
and Pio was.
Yeah, we could get into a whole discussion about that, and but in the end, it's when you think about it, Abel, it's any of these people who we revere or whatever. Right. At the crux of it, they're all just human beings. Why do we like celebrate certain people over other people? Like, why with this man that I get it after reading and watching this film and then doing some research about it and stuff, I go, I get it. People want to kind of glove on to somebody and make him the saint. But he really was very pious, you know?
Yeah, he had his moments of temptation and moments of doubt, but what made him a saint is, at the end of the day, he's delivering for other people. He's living a life of compassion. He's living a life of service, you know,
Yeah.
all those things on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment level, where his effect on other human beings is extraordinary. I know he's just a man, but I mean, there's not a lot of, the Dalai Lama is just a man,
Correct. Yeah.
Jesus is they're just a man. Well, there's a lot of men,
Yeah.
men
Yeah.
out there and, measure up to that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's talk about Shia. I thought he did a great job. I've always thought that he is an amazing actor. Like, I mean, when he commits to something, he commits to something, and he committed to this. And I understand that it was Willem Dafoe actually that kind of turned you on
Yeah,
to
that's
Shia.
that's fake news. Willem knows him. They're
Okay.
friends. I talked to him about it, the dude, but no, he wasn't the guy. That I don't know how that got out there, but
Okay, okay, sort of. But
it
just
was the
tell me how
producer.
did you connect to Shia? Because, I'm sure you're not sitting there watching his films. Like, tell me a little bit about your first interaction with him via Zoom and what kind of
It was like
why you
this. It
thought
was
he'd be
just like
great.
this. I mean, the producer was Alex Lebovich. He said you should talk to this dude. They knew I needed somebody in his age range. We're doing it. We know all about Shia and what he was going through and
Yeah,
whatever. And you know, it was just a connection. He just understood what we're talking about. You know, we have a lot in common. I have a lot. It's very hard for me because I'm an instinctual filmmaker. So when I'm choosing actors, it's like it's hard for me to really why it just seemed like, yeah, this is the guy. You know,
yeah,
when
yeah,
I look at
yeah. You feel it.
he's having his own, spiritual conversion. He's in recovery with me. He gets who the guy is. He immediately begins, you know, going to the monastery 2 hours outside of LA. I mean, he just gets in his car and goes there. You
Yeah,
understand? We're not talking about dates, money, credit, blah. We're not talking about nothing, bro. But
right.
what the fuck we're gonna do, So
Yeah, it's interesting because he, like I said earlier, he really does commit. And when you look at his past and whatever, he's clearly not a saint. Like, he's had his issues in life, there's no question, as we all have. But yeah, he's had some rough times. How did this, I mean, this clearly taking on this role for him changed his life, seriously.
yeah, his life was changing. I think it was just what he was like the miracle of Pio. I mean, it came to him at the moment that they needed each other,
Yeah.
and he was smart enough to embrace it and open enough to embrace it.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing to watch his performance in this. Really, he just made it seem so real. And tell me a little bit about the cooperation that you had from the monks. I mean, obviously they gave you their blessing, so to speak, because you have some of them in the film as extras.
Yeah, right. We started doing this a documentary 6 or 7 years ago. Me and
Yeah,
the writer, we just rolled up to, the monastery he worked. He was working at him in San Giovanni Rotunda. We just went there and just said, "Hey, we're making a movie about Padre Pio." It's a matter. It's what these cats are about. It's what Pio's about. It's like there's no cynicism. They're not sensing no hustle. They just embraced us.
yeah,
Okay, maybe they knew who I was, maybe they didn't. And even if you know who I am, my past is, it's checkered enough. You dig?
I
But
dig.
I did not feel any of that at all. It
Yeah,
was just like, wow, you're going to do it. I said, yeah. It took a while. I kept meeting them on different periods over 5 years. And I just say, got the faith. They go, we got the faith. I mean, they got the faith. They
yeah,
got plenty of. And when Shia, he rolled up to the monastery outside of LA, and he just sat in the parking lot. These guys just came. You can imagine.
yeah,
They're asking him, what are you doing in the parking lot? He says, I'm going to play Padre Pio. again, no negativity, no cynicism.
Wow.
They just embraced it. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was like we had 100% support, and the support that they're in the movie, the support of, it's a feeling, it's a feeling of what Pio is about,
Right.
what they are about.
Yeah. I
You know,
wondered,
which,
after, yeah, I mean, I'm such a big fan of your films, and Bad Lieutenant is one I'll never forget. I just amazing, amazing. I can watch that movie a million times. Like Harvey is just so, honestly, it's just so well done. And I wanted to know, and obviously for after every film that you make, you learn something about yourself. I would think with this one though, it it must have really resonated with you and sat with you. I mean, look at you now, you're living in Rome, you're married, you have a young kid, you've turned your life completely around. um
yep.
After you finish shooting this, I would think it really made you look at life going, yeah, I'm glad I've done what I've done.
Yeah, once you kick the drugs and the alcohol, you start getting a sense of appreciation,
Yeah.
first sense of appreciation that you're still alive, So, I'm a grateful dude, that I could even still work, that I could, do my thing, and yeah, I'm not taking any of it for granted.
Yeah.
And, it was a long time. We wanted to do this film for life. I wanted to do this right after Pasolini,
Yeah.
you know, but I didn't sweat it. I just felt if it was going to happen, it was going to happen. It didn't happen, and
Yeah.
yeah, I'm grateful for the, it happened in its own moment, its own time, when Shia was in that moment, and when the stars line up, and you better
Yeah.
be ready, and we were ready.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a beautiful film, and I really do thank you for it. And I thank
Uh,
you for your time today. We'll really appreciate it. And just keep them coming. Okay. Keep them
okay,
coming.
Bonnie, we trying, girl. We
Okay.
trying.
I'll see you in Rome next
I'll
year.
see
That's
you
my
in Rome.
plan.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, my friend. Take care.
Bye.
Okay. Bye bye.